The Honey Dipper is one of the fastest, simplest, easiest projects to make on the lathe. It's a great way to get someone started, and to do that we're going to start out with a piece of maple. It's approximately 1 inch square and 8 inches long. We're going to start by punching the centers on each end, and this is just eyeballed. You don't have to be real critical of it. That just enables us to find the center points on the lathe. The tool rest is going to be positioned as close as practical and just below the center. Always rotate it to make sure it's going to clear. We'll start out with a spindle roughing gouge. This is a rather large one, but any size will work. This will take the material from a square down to a cylinder. One of the nice things about hard maple is it cuts clean and finishes very nicely. Once we have it down to a cylinder, we'll switch to a 1/16 inch or 2 millimeter parting tool. This actually has a flute in it and makes for a very clean cut. We're going to move over about 3/4 to an inch and make 5 grooves. We'll come back to the roughing gouge and do the major part of the shaping. And for detail work, we're going to use a 3/8 inch spindle gouge. This has a fingernail grind on it. Allows me to get in very tightly. That gives me the details I'm looking for, and then we'll return to the roughing gouge for the rest of the project. As the material starts to thin out, you might need to support it with your fingers behind it. This just keeps the material from flexing. Again, the spindle gouge to detail the top of it. We're going to stop there, get a little sandpaper. I'm going to take the tool rest away. I'm going to start with 180 grit, then 240, and then finally 320. The finish on this will be mineral oil. Totally food safe and harmless. And then a little piece of beeswax just to buff it out a little bit. And then a dry end of the paper towel. And you always use paper towels, never a rag. A single thread from a rag or a piece of cloth can get wrapped around your finger and pull it into the spinning wood. Back to the detail gouge or spindle gouge. And do your final cuts, taking it down just a little at a time on both ends. and then finally finishing it up by cutting it off at the tailstock end first, and then the headstock. And there's your honey dipper.